Hello, church. Well, I'm back again this week. I just did the midweek update last week, but I have big news. I don't have a drum to do a drum roll, but how about ring the bell, because here's the big news. We're coming back. We have an announcement to make today, and that is that on June 6th, as planned, we will be having worship in the sanctuary again, but unlike what we have been saying up until now, the big news is that you won't have to register, and we won't be limited to how many people can come, and we won't have to keep 6 feet of social distancing. This is exciting news. The Centers for Disease Control just about 2 weeks ago issued new directives, guidelines that allow us to worship indoors and in fact even do smaller group settings like Sunday school indoors without those limitations on numbers. We've told you all along that we would follow the science at Wilshire, and we've tried to do that, and at times, to be honest, that's been frustratingly slow. We have watched other churches take steps before us, and we told you in the beginning that we probably wouldn't be early adopters because safety would be a real key factor for us. But now we're excited to be able to say that we can take a big new step. And so no more registering online. And come June 6th, you don't have to register. You can come at 9 o'clock for worship or at 11 o'clock for worship. And you can come to Sunday school in your old rooms, and we'll have other variations that we'll be talking about and other details to tell you about too. But suffice it to say, this summer we're going to be breaking back in with a transitional schedule, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. Each of those segments will be 45 minutes long because it's recommended that the less time you're together, the less problem it will be. But nonetheless, that's going to be an exciting thing. There will be extended session for preschoolers during each of the services. And again, Sunday school for everyone. So a lot of you Sunday school directors have been working with Darren DeMent carefully to try to figure out what you would do with your Sunday school classes gathering by Zoom with this new summer schedule. Well, now you can come back to church, to the building. And so that's exciting news, I think, for us to share. A few other things to say about this. You're going to get a report from the COVID task force this week that will outline a lot of details, and then there'll be a lot more in the tapestry telling you about things to come, but just a few other things to keep in mind. First of all, you will not have to register any longer for the church picnic coming up on Sunday at Flagpole Hill from 5 to 7. You will still have to bring your own food, but you won't have to mask. Now, masking outdoors is not as necessary as it used to be. We will let you use your discretion. Certainly, if you're going to be with people you haven't been with, and you can put your mask on, and we invite you to do that voluntarily, but the infection rate is minuscule now for outdoor infections. So that's good news. And that then bleeds over into Church in the Lot, which is still at 5 o'clock on Sunday the 23rd. That's Pentecost Sunday the 23rd, a week from Sunday. And again, no more need to register. Just come, bring your chairs and your cars if you wish to stay in the car, and we'll have our final Church in the Lot before we come back again on the 6th of June. So there are a lot of details about singing that we're working out and choirs, and we'll continue to be able to build on this announcement until the time when we're able to have a much more normal life together. But masks are still going to be required for worship and Sunday school. I will tell you that. Masking is still required, but not the social distancing or the numbers issue. I will say to you that if you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, please make a priority of that. Find a way to get vaccinated. The news just came out this week that those anyone over 12 years old can now be vaccinated. That's exciting news, and it continues to drop as we continue to make it possible for more and more to be vaccinated. That will help us get back to full strength quickly. So those are a few things to understand, and you should know that we've been working hard to prepare the building for our coming back. There are automatic doors, and there are automatic light switches, and there are automatic faucets in the bathroom, and touchless this and that, and there's going to be hand sanitizer everywhere, and there'll be new carpet in the sanctuary by the time you come back. Some other things will be happening during the course of the summer, like the shutters being repaired and new pew cushions and things like that that are on order. So a lot of exciting things as we freshened up and as we're back in a big way. One other thing to announce to you is to remind you that tomorrow night, that's Thursday night at 7:30 on YouTube Premiere, Jeff and Friends will be in concert. That's Jeff Brummel, who is our organist and associate minister of music, and he will be having some of the youth from the youth choir that he directs join him for a concert that will include other instruments like clarinet and French horn and marimba and all of that. You're going to be excited to hear from people like Audrey Potcotter and Virginia DeMent and Laura Summers and Landon Hyder and Joshua Brown and Garrett Woodbury, all of them joining Jeff for a 35-minute concert I think you'll enjoy and have fun. Well, this is almost breathless for me that we get to come back together. And I bought these flowers for Mother's Day for Kim, and they're tulips, and when I bought them, they were just bulbs, and they are still in that state where they're not quite out yet, but there's promise to it. And so I bought them before they were fully blossoming, and it gives me hope to look at them. I hope that's a symbol to you about what's happening now as we are blossoming back together and emerging back into our life together as a church. So this is good news. I couldn't wait to share it with you, and there's more to come. Watch your tapestry and your email and all those sorts of things. In the meantime, God bless you, and we'll see you soon.
Today we practice standing on holy ground. Practice this with me if you're willing by actually embodying the prayer. We're going to take off our shoes, kind of like Mr. Rogers did, remember? One by one. We take them off. We set them down, and like Moses, we spread our toes, we get reconnected. We remember that we're human, supported in every step by our living God. We breathe in, we breathe out, and we say thank you for this blessing of holy ground.
Dries and hot French fries with friends around the country, from Charlottesville to good old Santa Fe. When I think of you, you still got on that hat that says let's party. I hope that thing is never thrown away. I hope the life without a chaperone is what you thought it'd be. I hope your brother's El Camino runs forever. I song. Ain't it funny how some people pop into your head so easily? I haven't seen you in there for so long. I hope the life without a chaperone is what you thought it'd be. I hope your brother's El Camino runs forever. I hope the world sees the same person that you always were to me. And may all your favorite bands stay together.
A reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. Now Moses was pasturing the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. The angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, yet the bush was not consumed. So Moses said, I must turn aside now and see this marvelous sight, why the bush is not burned up. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to look, God called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Then God said, Do not come near here. Remove your sandals from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground. He said also, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Then Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Sometimes when we, the residents, are joking around, something good will happen, and we're excited, and we'll say, look at God. Or won't God do it? We'll say, look at God. And we say it in good fun and in jest, and we hope that God is laughing along with us. But I tell you what, sometimes it is hard to look at God. It is hard to notice, to dare to notice that you are standing on holy ground. It's hard to take in sometimes the fact that we are surrounded in this life with grace, that to be alive is grace. I'm wondering today, as we're thinking together about blessings, about blessing, what's difficult to you about receiving gifts from the Lord? Gifts not being, that perfect parking spot or whatever, but the gift of your breath, the gift of the chance to live, to experience, to love and be loved. Are you sometimes afraid to look at God? sometimes I think one way to overcome this fear in small ways, because, as we continue to live, we continue to be transformed. I don't think any fear is absolutely conquered at once. But one way to work on this, I think, is to work with God in blessing, to cooperate with God in blessing, to recognize that the ground that we stand on is indeed holy and beloved of God, to treat it well, to look at who all walks on this ground and to love them, to make sure they have food to eat and clothes to wear, shelter. Are you afraid to look at God? Are you afraid God will withhold blessings from you? Are you afraid that you yourself are withholding blessings from others? These are hard questions, and they're not meant to scare us. But we will never be free until we face the hardest questions and look at God. How can you participate today with God? How might you dare to step aside and see that bush that's burning but not burnt up? Can you look today for God's blessings all around you? Can you let your feet touch holy ground? Can you make a way for someone else to do the same?
Thank you for joining us today for the second installment in our new series, Blessings. Hope that you will join us again next week. Until then, love wholeheartedly, live as you were created, and be God's people in our fragmented world. Amen.